Hello, I'm Jess,
And I'm Owen.
and we're going to be we're going to be peer reviewing Owen's level 1 hacker badge activity. So, Owen, what is the purpose for this piece?
The purpose of this level 1 activity is to tell the readers what kind of news I listen to and watch, why I watch it, and kind of the news I am kind of weary of.
True. That's out there. Who's your audience for this piece?
It would be anybody interested in learning what kind of news is good, in my opinion, honestly.
True.
People who are watching this on Credly.com and my Writing 104 professor.
Yes.
She'll be reading this and reviewing.
Definitely, always. What's the context of this piece? Like, was an assignment?
Yeah, it was produced as an assignment, but it's also just an informational thing. I talk about like what types of news I watch and listen to, and like the different mediums I watch it on.
How did you choose your medium for this particular piece?
Well, this is a Google Doc, and that's usually shareable. You can just send a link to anybody, make a big folder, and it's very easily shareable.
Very straightforward, yep. I get that. How did you arrange the essay? Why do you think it works?
So I have 3 paragraphs here, and my first one talks about why it's important to me to be caught up in news, and it also talks about what kinds of mediums I use. Like I have an app that alerts me about national news, and excuse me. In the next paragraph, I talk about the types of news I follow, and I think that it's credible sources. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and CBC. Sometimes NBC as well.
True.
I also talk about how I like to watch the local news and to get informed locally, nationally, and internationally. I also talk about, in the last paragraph, the kinds of news that I am kind of weary of, which Fox News, because typically some newscasters are very biased towards a certain demographic, and like the Fox News is favored towards the right side Republican Party. And I think it's important that readers should know what kind of news they're reading, and that it's very credible in the range of things.
Very good, well put together answer. Who have you shared this composition with anyone? What kind of feedback have they given?
Well, I've shared this composition with you, also my Writing 104 professor, and it's on Credly. It got passed, so it seems to be good.
That's good, but we'll take a look at it one more time.
That's right.
To ensure. Since it has already been looked at, what are some things that you are satisfied with, and then some that you might still be concerned about?
Well, I'm satisfied with my middle paragraph with my strong opinion on what type of news is good, because it can give a good insight to other people what type of news they should watch and stuff. I'm also satisfied with the fact that I watch local, national, and international news just to keep up to date with local events, with what's happening around us.
True.
And the fact that I put in that some news is biased and you should be very wary of it and know which sources are credible.
That's definitely a good point to make.
It's kind of short and simple.
No, I like that, definitely. Easy to read, easy to look at. So looking at your first paragraph, I definitely like it, but I'm kind of curious to know what this app is, so maybe
Well,
stated.
I know that I think New York Times has their own app, and like even like the Weather Channel app. Those are that's the news.
Ooh.
You know, it's snowing today, so I have to keep up with that.
True.
Through different ways, and I know CNN has an app, and sometimes they have videos and different mediums, and they have like polls, you know,
and that
different stories, articles.
So
it makes it a little more interesting and readable, tolerable.
True.
Yeah, because sometimes just black and white newspaper is kind of boring. I don't get interested in that.
True.
So
like
there's pictures, yeah.
There's lots to look at.
Yep.
Very convenient. So online through different sources. So yeah, that's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like big news channels have different mediums now.
That's right.
With the growing technology, we can kind of get the word out there.
And it's also much more like spreadable in a way. Yeah,
definitely. You can definitely know what's going on around the world much faster. I like that you mentioned that you watch the Rhode Island local news to keep up with local events, but that you do keep up with national news. That's always really important, just to know what's going on, especially now that we can vote. In your last paragraph, I like that you stated how the importance of a reporter to remain unbiased, so that the viewers and the audience of the news channels can get the most straightforward, valid, truthful version of the story.
Because sometimes if there's a bias, they'll leave something out or say something against the other party or something.
Yeah, definitely. What?
Do you have any suggestions for things should we fix?
Maybe if you wanted to state why having a biased reporter in the news would be pretty bad for like the democracy as a whole.
Okay, yeah.
Because that does have an effect, or
especially if it's like a
how it can mislead people.
Or like election season and stuff.
Definitely, we have seen that happen. The news can definitely guide people in the wrong direction when it is biased and when people choose to not look at all the sources. And I like how you follow multiple news sources that you listed up here. But other than that, honestly, I think that the point of this was to keep very straightforward. What kind of news do you like? Why? Why do you think it's important? Everything like that. I think you got straight to the point. And yeah, so that was for you. Bye.